welcome to this review of my IBM Thinkpad, one of the rare occasions we're actually covering a whole computer rather than just a keyboard. I bought this on eBay about 6 years ago, but I didn't get around to covering it, mostly because computers take a lot more work to dive into, and so I forgot. It came from the US, apparently belonging to some Swedish lady called Cecily who had an American husband named John, possibly with a kid called James, and she didn't even wipe the hard drive or anything, so there were a bunch of pictures and old work documents on it, which is kind of funny, though I removed those by now. It works fine, but I did make sure to first take out the battery though, because I don't really trust batteries this old, and apparently this model in particular is known for having weak batteries to begin with. Speaking of old, the 600 series was launched in 1998, and though I'm not sure what year this one is from exactly, 1998 could track, because this one is set up with Windows 95 rather than Windows 98, specifically its build 1212, which was released in mid-1997. The ThinkPad line was launched in 1992 originally, at which point it was still made by IBM, while Lenovo took over production in 2005, and they still manufacture them to this day, making it one of the longest running computer series in the world. The computer itself thinks it's currently February of 1998, possibly reverting back to the release date of the 600 series or something. This is probably because I changed the CMOS battery, which was as dead as a doornail, and this model apparently doesn't like to start up without it. It was a bit of a palaver putting in a new one, as I had to reshape the connector manually to get it to fit into the bus, but now it works fine, as you can see. Now, one of the reasons I want to talk about this one, and the reason I bought it at the time, was because the ThinkPad, specifically the older models, are known for having a relatively good keyboard for a laptop. Normally laptops obviously have incredibly shitty keyboards, and this is one of the reasons I refuse to get one in general, but this one is supposed to be pretty decent. Of course, the award for portable computer with the best keyboard in history has to go to the IBM 5155, which came with a full-fledged Model F capacitive buckling spring keyboard. This model also happens to be the first computer I ever had as a kid, but considering it's 13 kilos and doesn't have a battery, it's maybe a bit of a stretch to call it a true laptop. I have a video on it though, if you're interested, as well as several videos of me playing old DOS games on it. Possibly the best actual laptop keyboard I have is on the Bondwell, which unfortunately malfunctioned spectacularly when I tried it out, and in fact it seems to be known for being highly unreliable, but the keyboard is a very nice full travel Cherry MX Navy board with nice full height double shot keycaps, and so even people at the time praised this thing for its keyboard. The ThinkPad, on the other hand, has always had a keyboard with rubber domes, but even among those there's big differences in quality. Some rubber domes are great, like the BTC dome with slider keyboards I showed years ago, or the Scorpius, which is probably the best sounding rubber dome keyboard ever made, or Topra of course, but there are also truly horrifying pieces of junk out there. As I've mentioned several times before on the channel, for example, the laptop computer that came with the ESI mass spectrometer in our lab is just a generic piece of shit, and it's so bad that I brought one of my own keyboards from home because I just couldn't stand working on this flagrant insult to keyboardage. Now, IBM of course have a rather legendary reputation among keyboard enthusiasts, so much so that even their rubber dome keyboards pretty much automatically get revered, such as this KB8923, which to be honest is okay or something, but to say that this thing is great just because it's IBM is going rather far. I mean, this is nothing compared to my favorite domies. So I just want to point out that IBM keyboards sometimes get praise automatically where it's not necessarily always earned. Nowadays, ThinkPads come with very flat keys and are supposedly really bad, but these old IBM-made ones have sculpted keycaps, even if they're not very deep, and nice tactile switches with a relatively crisp feel for rubber domes. Now, there are a wide range of opinions on the frankly rather bewildering range of keyboards they used over the years, but the 600 series appears to be one of the most highly rated by others, so I guess that if there's one model that could show us if the hype is real, it's this one. So what's it like? Well, it's okay. I wouldn't call it spectacular or anything, but it's not terrible either. I guess especially for a laptop, it's pretty decent. I'd still rather have mechanical switches, obviously, maybe some chocks or something if it has to be low profile, but on average, I'd say you can do a lot worse than this. It's got fair tactility, noticeable without being too overbearing, and a decent amount of travel too, which is nice. I'm not sure I'd go as far as to say that it feels like a normal keyboard, but I'm not hating it, so that's pretty good. It's also got a built-in mouse here in the form of this nipple and these buttons. That's called a track point, also known as a clit mouse, and it's very IBM. I once reviewed a Model M13 keyboard years ago, which also comes with one of those. It's useful to have on a laptop, I guess, though I did still have an old ball mouse with a PS2 plug lying around, thankfully, as that is a lot more convenient, especially for games. As for the computer itself, it's a Pentium 1 running at 233 MHz with 160 GB of RAM and 2 hard disks, one of which is 2 GB and the other is 1 GB. I can still remember getting my first Pentium with a 1 gig hard disk and thinking, man, I'm never going to fill that up. Boy, was I wrong. It's got a Neo Magic chipset, which I know absolutely nothing about, but from what I can tell from the specs, this was pretty much the lowest spec'd version of the 600 there was, and indeed it doesn't come across as a particularly powerful computer, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, as some of you all know, I'm a long-time hardcore gamer, and so I took this opportunity to play some older games from my childhood on it, such as Exile, Escape from the Pit, Warheads, Gearheads, Glider 4.0, Risk, Abomination, The Nemesis Project, Return Fire, Beat Up Millionaires, Heart of Darkness, Battle Beast, Operation Inner Space, and Z95. These all work, and it's great fun to revisit these. I have tons more classic games, of course, but many of those run pretty well on DOSBox, so instead I looked at Windows 95 era games, which are not as easy to get going, as I don't think there's a Windows 95 emulator out there, and unlike DOS games, which have seen pretty extensive conservation efforts, these early Windows era games are sometimes also harder to find, such as Z95, which is much rarer than the original DOS release. I have gotten a few of these to work on a modern system, to be fair, but it's never quite as straightforward as using DOSBox, or this thing for that matter. The one I really wanted to get running on this was Hoyle Casino Empire, which is in my opinion the best casino tycoon game of all time, and which I just can't run on my current computer no matter what I try, but it refuses to run on this, so I guess I need something more powerful for that. I also tried to play Sheep on it, but to my surprise that gave such a low FPS that it was completely unplayable, so I'm not even going to try and play Tank Racer, and Road Rash, which is still one of the best racing games of all time, just refuses to set up at all for some reason. I'm also kind of bound to the demo version of Operation Inner Space, as even though I do have the full version on this floppy disk, this computer doesn't appear to have a floppy disk drive on it, nor a USB port for an external floppy drive, and I don't have a CD burner anymore, so I guess I have to make do with a shareware version instead. Anyway, if you want to see me play some of these older games on this computer, like what I did on the 5155, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll make a few videos at some point. So yeah, a keyboard's not bad for a laptop, but if you're used to a PC, it's not exactly great either. A fun computer to have though, and to dive back in time and re-explore some of my childhood memories with Windows 95 in these games again. Hope you enjoyed the video, thank you for watching, and following is a typing demonstration of me typing on this computer.